Hi everybody, and welcome to Plastic Models by Regular Dude and my end of April, beginning of May update. Talk a little bit about what went on in April and what's coming up in May. Not a whole lot of stuff going on. Well, a lot of stuff going on, but not a lot of variety. So got a few new items that I'll talk about and upcoming projects. So let's take a look. All right, so what do we have first? I am still working on the Revell FW190 F8, and if you can hear a bit of hissing, don't mind it. It's just my fan. It's kind of warm out here on the in the man tunnel, so I've got my fan going, so excuse that please. Still working on the FW190 and 1/32 scale, but it is coming along nicely. As a matter of fact, I am almost done with the decals. Here's where I am so far. I got the markings on the sides, on the bottom of the wings, stencils on the sides, and now all I have to do is the I guess the walkway outlines. Got to get those on there and then do a bit of chipping, then I can move on. But so far I'm really stoked with the way this is turning out. Now there's probably tons of mistakes that a person could, find, things that are wrong, whatever. This is my first bare metal finish, and I am really stoked with it. Now, one thing I do want to comment on are the decals, Eagle Cows decals. I have to say that I really like them. They're very, very good decals. Some of this stuff I really had to monkey around with and move it around, especially like the spinner. The spinner has the spiral on it, and I've always had a hard time with those. And this one, I monkeyed around with that thing forever with tweezers, moving it. They're really thin, but I don't know what they're made out of, but they don't seem to tear. The way I was messing around with that, I think some of the other brands I've used would have torn, but these didn't. It's almost kind of like a vinyl type stuff. I'm sure it's not vinyl, but it just, and somebody else can probably tell me what they're made out of, but they work really well, and they're really tough, so they're easy to stick in place, and they can take a lot of abuse. Now I still have to apply. I was kind of like, I got this and I was kind of disappointed in it, the Tamiya Mark Fit decal solution, but I thought, I'm going to give it a try again, and it does work. It does work well. I use it as a setting solution, kind of. I put some on there like it says to do, and then I put some on top of the smaller ones. But like on the large decals, I put some of this on there, put the wet decal on, and then I use a Q-tip or cotton bud, depending on where you're from, and just start in the center and just mash out all the water. And the decals, they really work nice. There's no bubbles. Even on these larger decals, there's no bubbles, there's no silvering, and they're really thin. So they just work. They work great. So now, one thing that I did find, and you can probably see it on this one right here, is my really thin mottling. Some of it came off from this. So that's something to keep in mind. I mean, maybe I should have put a clear coat on here, but I didn't know how that would react with the metal finish. I didn't want it to dull it or anything, so a little experimentation. But anyway, it's minor, and once I get this thing weathered, it probably won't be noticeable anyway. But see right there as well. But I had to work a lot with that particular decal, and there are some little buckle marks that I'm gonna have to cut, and then I'm going to be using Walters Solvaset to really get them to snuggle down into the panel lines and stuff. So, but the decals, excellent. If you ever get a chance to use them, if you're going to buy aftermarket decals and you can find what you want in this brand, I would definitely recommend them. I like them a lot. They're really easy to work with and super crisp print. I used my magnifying glass on one thing because I couldn't, it was white lettering on that white background, that light colored background. I couldn't tell which way it was up because I didn't pay attention when I put it in the water. And just using the magnifying glass, I mean, the print is crystal clear on this stuff. So recommend Eagle Cals if you ever get a chance to use them. So that one's coming along nicely. So that's what I've been working on pretty much the whole month, and I should have it probably, hopefully, wrapped up either by the end of this week or into next week. I don't really have that much to do as far as the FW190. So as you can see, I've got a new mat here. I was using the gray, and I discovered that the gray, sometimes it was kind of hard to see things in my lighting out here when I'm working with parts. And I think the green, I had green before, and but it was, I think it was a smaller mat or something, but I changed it for the gray thinking I'd like the gray, but I don't like the gray. It's just not really working that well. And I like this thing right here because it lines up with my camera better, so I can keep stuff, you know, in frame when I'm doing videos. So got a new mat, got it today, got it at Hobby Lobby, 40% off coupon, so got it nice and cheap. So another new thing I got this month, earlier this month, are the I've seen a lot of people use these, and I think I mentioned them in another video. It might have been in my last update, I don't know, but they're still on my desk, so just in case. I got the Vallejo Thick Mud, acrylic mud, and I like the fact that it's kind of thick. It'll save me some steps. So I got it in a few different colors, and I've seen a lot of people use them that, you know, I watch their channels, and I like the work that they do, and it seems to work really well. So I want to give these a try and save me some steps when mixing mud and that kind of stuff. So got that, and that's really all the new stuff I got. Now I do want to talk about a new thing I'm trying. One of the problems I have, I shouldn't say it's a problem, but with the Tamiya paints, I really like the Tamiya paints because they spray so great, and I don't have to worry about them drying out. Now if I'm just doing a single color and it's going to be quick, then, you know, I'm okay with using Model Air because I like the colors. I like the finish of it, and, you know, it works fairly well for shooting a single color quickly. Now if I have to do something like German aircraft camouflage, there is no way on God's green earth I can use the Model Air. I've tried it, and it just ends up drying up in the cup, it dries on the tip, it doesn't have a long enough working time. And I'm sure it has to do with my climate here, because there's lots of people that use it and use it to a great effect, but I haven't been able to do it. One of my most viewed videos, well, it is my most viewed video, is Vallejo paint problems and solutions that I did, you know, a few years ago, and I just can't get the stuff to work for some things. Other things works fine, so, you know, it has its place on my bench. I really like to brush it with a brush because it's, you know, already thin, because the model color can be a bear to get to the right consistency. But anyway, back to the Tamiya. So that's what I like about the Tamiya. I use the Tamiya with the X20 thinner, and I can spray and spray and spray. I mean, I've set my airbrush down and gone and done something and come back 5-10 minutes later, and it's still totally fluid and no problems. So I really like the Tamiya paint. Now the one drawback that I've discovered in the way that I model is because of its ultra flat finish that looks really good. I find that I have problems with oil washes. Now acrylic washes I don't use. I just can't. That's another one of those things I can't get to work. So I do oil washes, pin washes. And the problem I've discovered is that whenever I touch the say I'm going to do a pin wash, you know, around like right here, say for instance, in this this spot right here, you know, I touch it most of the time, you know, like on the Vallejo, on, you know, say Model Master acrylics, it just bleeds and just flows right down the length of whatever I'm doing, or like right around the rivets or whatever. Works really nice. But if I do it with the Tamiya paint, just the Tamiya paint by itself, when I touch it, it just kind of diffuses into the surrounding paint. It doesn't flow along, it just kind of absorbs into the surrounding because it's so flat. So asked a few questions different places and thought about it, and what I have done, and I did it on the FW190, is I've come up with a I think a solution to that. Now if they made gloss paints, that would like totally take care of the problem, but they don't. So what I did, like on RLM 74, I have a chart that gives me a formula, and I mix the colors together, and then I add some X22 Tamiya gloss, clear gloss, and then some X20 thinner, X20A thinner, the acrylic stuff, not the lacquer. And what it does is it gives me kind of a semi-gloss finish that seems to take the wash a lot better. So I'm kind of experimenting, trying to get a formula going. Once I kind of get it figured out of how, you know, to where it gets to a consistency that works for me, I'll talk a little bit more about it on another video. But that's one thing I'm trying this new this month, is trying this experiment with paint, Tamiya paint mixed with gloss, to get a little bit better results with my pin washes. So that's a new technique I'm trying. So after I get the 190 finished, my next project is going to be, I think I'm going to do it for my Plastic Models for Beginners series, and it's going to be like a back to basics, building a kit right from the box, for two reasons. It'll be a little bit, you know, more complex kit built right out of the box than the first one I did. It's not going to have any photo etch, no aftermarket stuff, just plastic in the box. The box doesn't come with any photo etch. And so one reason I'm going to do it is just kind of a back to basics for, you know, any of the beginner people that watch my videos or new ones. But also because I just want to build something straight from the box, basic paint job, minimal weathering. It's just basically going to be dusted and, you know, some, you know, pin washes and stuff like that. Just very basic, just as a kind of a relaxing build till I jump on my next project, which will be a little bit more complex. And that kit that I'm going to do that with is the older Tamiya Merkava main battle tank, and it is, my brother gave me this one a few months ago, and he's had it since it was new. He bought this thing back in the 80s, and he never got around to building it. So that's what I'm going to do. And this one's so old that it's the Model Rectifier Corporation, MRC Tamiya is what it was. Tamiya Model Rectifier Corporation. Molded in Japan, packaged in USA. And the box printed in Canada. So that's what I'm going to do. I've only built, like, this one's sold. It's got this old school catalog in it. Model Club of America, and nice yellowed, nasty looking instructions. That's how old this thing is. So I'm sure I can't join this club anymore. MRC Tamiya's 80+ page catalog and all that kind of cool stuff. So anyway, and as you can see, It's got the old school, you know, you can put a motor and batteries in it. One of those kind of deals. Made in Japan. I'm trying to see if there's a date on this thing. I'm not seeing one. But anyway, whenever I find that out, I'll talk about it. I'll do like a review. But see, it's all still in the plastic bags and everything. And, you know, it should be a pretty fun kit. It's got the old, you know, Lincoln length tracks. But these are actually not too bad because they actually have interior detail. I'm going to set them out and try and get them to lie flat. Now, the decals I may not be able to use. I'm not sure if they'll work. You know, I'll give them a shot. But if they don't, I'll just paint the markings on because these markings are pretty simple. But, you know, it should be a pretty fun kit, and it's got 2 sets of decals. 2 sets of the exact same decals. That's weird. So if anybody needs an extra set of decals for America Vibe, got them. So, anyway, that's going to be my next project. Just a relaxing, put it together, clean it up really nice, and just have fun building it. Don't make it a stressful thing. See, printed in the USA. It's kind of cool. But whenever I find out what the date of this kit is, I will let you know whenever I do the, whenever I start building it, because there's nothing on the box anywhere saying what year, so I'll have to come back to that. But anyway, it should be a pretty fun kit. I've always thought this is kind of a cool tank. You know, again, I'm not much into modern armor, but, you know, this was given to me, and it'll be fun to just, you know, put it together. I might put it together and just give it to my brother as a gift. I don't know. He did build one back in the 80s, and, you know, he wanted to get another one and build it, but, you know, he got married and stuff got packed away. It's just cool that he still had it. So, anyway, that is the next kit that I'm going to build. And then I'll move on to some of the other stuff. So that's pretty much it. That's the end of April, beginning of May recap and update. So as always, you know, if you guys have any comments or questions, post them down below. Anything to maybe look for on that kit as I'm building it. If you've built it, I'd like to hear it. So as always, thanks for watching Plastic Models by a Regular Dude. Stay tuned for more updates on the 190, and I will see you all later.